We came here to do an obstacle course, not to run through and not attempt to climb a rope. It was soul-destroying for me. We came here for a challenge, and I am absolutely furious about it.
The last challenge saw our teams completely exhausted. That was thanks to a stair climb, a rope crawl, all while carrying a big heavy weight.
Last time our athletes were put to the test with a military-style obstacle course through an isolated canyon. It was a multidisciplinary battle that required tactics, skill, and of course, strength.
That weight was surprisingly heavy.
It turned out that this brutal challenge forced a few of the athletes to conquer some inner fears.
I'm afraid of heights, so I looked down and I'm like, oh boy, I hope I can do this. And I told myself I can, and I kept going.
I didn't think I could do this.
Team USA struggled again in last week's challenge, dropping them to a shared second place with Belgium. South Africa remain in the lead, followed by Canada. The winners of last week's tightrope challenge, Team Australia, still lingering at the bottom. The weather conditions on Bali have hit a critical peak, with a morning temperature of 32 degrees Celsius and humidity a suffocating 75%.
We're on the beach again. It's great. So excited to be here and not elsewhere.
It also feels like a festive day, as Dwayne, a member of Team South Africa, celebrates his birthday with the group. Although the mood is cheerful and relaxed, everyone now realises that Team South Africa, with its recent struggles, are not as invincible as they first thought.
Definitely nice, I think, for everyone in the tournament to see that South Africa is not going to win every event. There's certain challenges that they can be beaten on.
And beaten they were, most recently by the Belgians. But Team Belgium today face some difficulties of their own.
Yeah, yesterday ate something wrong, I think, and she has a little bit with the stomach, but she will be okay.
She's a true soldier.
She's a fighter.
She's not at home in bed. She's going to be here to compete.
Yeah, and she's going to end it also.
Yeah, you've got a good fit team.
Yeah.
Is this your kind of challenge?
Yep. Side hurt a little bit, but now she's laughing already.
But I don't think Anke will be laughing for long, because the athletes are about to find out what awaits them in today's challenge.
This challenge is the bottleneck itself. All teams and contestants will have to get in line in order to complete this trek.
The teams compete in a relay race over land and sea. Each member will have to traverse a 2.5-kilometre obstacle course, battling not only each other, but also Bali's brutal sun.
We had to start on the beachfront, run into the ocean, swim, run, dive, whatever, around the buoy.
Run out of the water, down the beach, towards some obstacles.
The first rope climb has multiple ropes to it. The next rope climb has less ropes. And then we have a rope wall.
Doable, but there is one minor inconvenience. The rope obstacles can't accommodate all the athletes at the same time. This presents them with a choice to either wait their turn and lose precious seconds, or skip the obstacles entirely and accept a 1-minute penalty.
It's all about tactics. If you think it's too hard to get over this one, skip him and just run through it.
And they're off.
My goal, I was the first runner, was to gain some distance on people. So once we got to those rope climbs, we weren't fighting people for ropes.
But Victor of Team South Africa has other plans.
Victor was gaining ground in the water for me, right? I was obviously very strong in the swim. I came out first. I had a very, very good technique. I was flabbergasted I was being surpassed in the water. So once I got to the shore and he's ahead of me, my goal was just to pass Victor on the run. I was going to play mind games with Victor.
While gaps have quickly formed between the rest of the field, the two alpha males duke it out with each other at the front of the course.
I have a very good body-to-weight ratio. I should be able to complete every single obstacle. Shoes are slippery, slightly out of breath, whole new ball game.
Just like chalk and cheese don't go together, nor does it seem swimming and climbing a thin rope. But for now, Victor stays in the lead over Paul. Meanwhile, Team Belgium's Eva is in third place and attempts to scale every single obstacle. In the front, Paul decides differently.
Ran onto the second one, and Canada decided to run straight under me,
leaving Victor in doubt.
Changing my mental game immediately on the spot. I had to readjust, recalculate, thinking I didn't know that this was going to happen. I thought every team was going to try all the obstacles.
For now, Paul's plan seems to be working perfectly.
When he did that, I jumped off on the other side, skipped the third obstacle, maybe not because I wanted to, but because he messed with my mind. I was thinking my team members are going to see that I ran out first, and all of a sudden I'm coming in third. What happened? Am I injured? Applying unnecessary pressure. So I started chasing.
At the cargo net, Victor's right behind Paul, but Paul's mind game certainly had an effect on the young South African.
Disappointed in myself that I was outsmarted. Playing mind games with Victor.
Keep pushing, keep pushing.
I should have kept calm, done the obstacles, and he rattled me. He really did.
With Paul in front, Victor's early lead is dwindled to just metres as athlete after another accepts the time penalties that come with skipping the obstacles.
Thought that I could do the rope ladder quite quickly, and I didn't realize that a Belgian girl was on my heels. And so as I started to climb, she climbed up beside me. And so two people on that rope, it's very loose, and so it was swaying back and forth.
Nice job.
With this as the result. Stephanie lets go of the pole too soon, falls down, gets tangled in the ropes, irritating an old injury.
You okay, Steph?
Luckily, I'll say, the rope caught me in my right leg, which actually is a previous injury, and I broke 9 bones in it 2 years ago.
Eva from Team Belgium is an excellent runner and immediately takes over. Technical skills are a UFC essential and all part of the game. Team Canada's Paul is the first to reach the finish line, tapping teammate Matt to begin the second lap.
One of our team members, Rod, he's injured his back, so I'm going to be going twice myself. I'm actually going to go second. Hopefully that will split the teams, so that way I'm not competing with people on each obstacle. And being second, hopefully will give me enough time to catch my breath to go in last place again as well.
Unfortunately for Kyle, he, Terence and Matt all reached the third obstacle almost at the same time. Stephanie survived her 2.5-kilometre run. Hopefully her cargo net escapade will have no major consequences for the rest of this competition.
That was tough. That was intense.
With the second leg underway, the athletes back at base camp try to piece together who skipped obstacles and how many.
No, he didn't do the last one. He tried and he couldn't get over it.
Rudy from Team Belgium has his mind set on skipping every single rope obstacle. Kyle and Matt, tired from their swim and tortured by the heat, eventually follow his lead, much to the annoyance of Team South Africa.
The time penalty I felt wasn't long enough because it was 1 minute time penalty for not completing an obstacle. So the teams that felt their members weren't going to be able to achieve this decided to run through and take the time penalty. We came here for a challenge. We came here to do stuff that puts us out of our comfort zone.
The calculation is quickly made. The price paid for a minute penalty is energy saved to scale somewhat easier obstacles that lie ahead.
These obstacles are not easy. People will look at that and go, I can do that in a minute quite easily. It's obvious right now that they can't, not everybody does. Every team now is about 50-50 with what they want to do. Do we take it on? Do we leave it and take the penalty?
Just as South Africa have planned, Terence managed to tackle every obstacle so far. Now it's his turn for the cargo net. With the net swinging uncontrollably, Terence is losing precious time trying to get over. Skipping the obstacle is a 1 minute penalty. The question is losing all the energy really worth it? After more than a minute, Terence decides it's not. The sum result of an attempt is a minute penalty and all that precious time lost. With Rudy from Team Belgium crossing the finish, all teams have begun their next leg, except South Africa. They are without doubt the team with the least penalties, but will this turn out to be the correct strategy? Terence finally arrives and sends Dina off.
I got up on top of the bamboo, but I couldn't get my legs high enough to the next knot. You just eventually drop off because you're on there for 30 seconds.
Wasting time.
Sorry, Alex, that wasn't top draw, that.
Meanwhile, Team Belgium has another problem. Not one sick teammate, but two.
Anka was not feeling well, but she decided to run anyway. And Bianca, we let her out.
I'm having a migraine. Bad day to choose, but
You can't start.
no. I think I didn't finish. No.
So that means I had to run twice.
As Eva prepares to run the obstacle course for a second time in one day, the athletes gather at the rope obstacles to cheer each other on,
Good job. Next one. Let's rock.
even athletes from the other teams.
Great job, Kim. Keep going.
Dina continues South Africa's strategy of attempting to scale every single obstacle. Their tactic could not be further from Australia's.
The idea was that it was best for all the runners to go through without trying to climb the ropes, just to make up that time with the runs. That penalty was better applied as opposed to trying to rope.
Come on, Vicky!
Victoria of Team Australia finishes this leg of the relay first, but she failed to complete a single obstacle. In fact, she didn't even try. Close behind her is Canada's Brooke, who has completed an impressive 3 of the 5 rope climbs. But once again, South Africa finished the leg last, but their reward for completing so many obstacles is the fewest penalty points. But whether this turns out to be a winning strategy remains to be seen. Diane is finally underway. Meanwhile, other teams are struggling on the obstacles and trying to decide whether an attempt is a wise decision.
Keep going, JJ.
I was disappointed with myself for struggling so much with those ropes. Thought I had it at one point. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna crush this. I wasn't able to get over it. I couldn't get my footing, and I figured for the team's sake, I'd take the penalties on missing him, even though it hurt my ego and the competitive nature, and I want to finish it. I want to complete it. So the relay wasn't my favorite because I felt like I failed the team a bit myself and taking the penalties.
Now that the temperature has reached its peak, even the South Africans must be questioning the soundness of their strategy. The physical and psychological pressure on the obstacle course is starting to take its toll on these athletes.
Go, go! Come on, JJ!
Yeah, you got it.
Come on, JJ!
Okay, come on.
Hopefully I don't fall.
Come on, JJ! Push with us. Push to the end. Come on. Gary, come on! Go on.
Diane is the second South African in a row to complete all 5 obstacles. Not surprisingly, South Africa are the last team to start the next leg of their race, but it still doesn't mean they'll finish last.
Very, very proud of Diane. She made all 5 obstacles, so she led from the front and made us all very, very proud doing that.
By skipping so many obstacles, the other teams have racked up some serious penalty points. Eva is off, again, for the final lap. She's right behind Kyle of Team USA, also his second run.
The water run was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be.
Adam of Team Australia is actually lapping South Africa's Celeste, meaning the Australians are a full lap ahead. After just a couple of 100 metres, Kyle has a setback. Running for the second time in intense heat is taking its toll.
First obstacle, I knew that I was in trouble because it was way more difficult than I thought. I still was able to make it up over that obstacle, but I was gassed after that.
Eva, also running the course for the second time, is having a much easier time climbing the ropes than Kyle.
That's good. Come on in.
While the leaders continue to speed ahead, Carson of Team Canada feels now is the perfect time to practice her rope climbing skills. Even though she's in 4th place, Paul is there for some moral support.
There you go. Stand on your feet. Lift up your feet one more time.
There was a point in the relay where Who cares what place we come in? We're gonna work together and we're gonna try these events. We're gonna try these obstacles. Carson, our arms are sore. We know we're struggling to get over it.
Give yourself 2 tries. If you can't, we'll move on to the next
And we're
one.
like, do it. We don't care if you can't make it and still take a penalty, you try. It was very team-oriented. We were just, let's just finish it and who cares what place we make.
Finally, Celeste crosses the line and tags Dwayne to begin the final lap for South Africa. Fortunately for all these athletes, the end is near.
You're good.
C.
You're good.
Got everyone.
Everyone.
No, Adam took 2 ropes in the one and I couldn't.
Oh, shit.
So I just went.
Did you just miss one?
Yeah.
No, that's fucking power.
See? Go in the water.
Meanwhile, battling for second and third place are Kyle and Eva, both in their second performance of the day.
So as I proceeded through the course, the second obstacle, I actually didn't make it up, but I wasted a lot of energy. So then at that time, I was just thinking, make up some time on the run and take a couple penalties.
A few seconds later, Eva arrives at the same obstacle.
So the second round, I did every obstacle. I felt even better the second round than the first.
Come on! Come on, Jim! Chill out!
With perfect climbing skills, Eva also passes the next obstacle.
Come on, Jim! Take this! Chill out! Yeah!
South African beast Dwayne may be a serious crossfitter, but he can't cope with Eva's extraordinary agility on the ropes. For her, the cargo net is the last obstacle before the finish line.
Belgium also, as well as Team USA, that was her second time around this obstacle course. You remember earlier, Belgium did have one young girl that was feeling a little bit sick. She decided not to compete in this, and again, true Belgian form, she's put her hand up and said, I'll go first and last, and we'll see if we can get this over the line for us once more. Great effort.
Kyle of Team USA crosses the finish line first, followed by Team Australia. The big question is whether they'll still be first and second when the penalty points have been added up. One thing is clear, Eva has delivered an outstanding performance.
It's good to mean something for the team. The first couple of games were a lot of with strength, and I did not mean that much for the team with the strength stuff. So it was nice for me to now really mean something.
All the obstacles, Eva, what a little jet. You know, really impressive. She's very young, very fit, very strong in the mind.
One team, however, doesn't seem to be worried about finishing at all.
1 foot!
Jump, girl, cars!
Got it! First position to 5 position. As long as we're working as a team, that's all that matters to me. We have strong swimmers, we have strong climbers, we have strong cardio, and we have some weak people as well in those areas, right? So as long as we're working at a team, we're smiling at the end of the day, that's all that matters to me.
With a great sense of team spirit, Team Canada finally complete the relay race as a group in 4th place. Now all the teams have crossed the finish line, except one. By courageously sticking to the true spirit of the challenge, Team South Africa come in last, in theory at least. And when birthday boy Dwayne finally crosses the finish line, the judges can stop their watches and start crunching the numbers. Before the penalty points are announced, the current leaderboard looks like this. The USA lead the way with 46 minutes, a full 8 minutes ahead of last place South Africa. But is 8 minutes really that long in a relay race quite like this?
Time alone, this competition looked great for certain teams. But after penalties were awarded, the challenge was flipped upside down.
At 5th place with 23 penalty minutes, Team USA.
The other teams, definitely you can see that they had practiced in that sort of an event before, and it showed.
At fourth place with 19, Team Canada.
Not my favorite day. I love the beach, I love the people, I love the challenge. I'm making excuses.
At third place with 21 penalty minutes, Team Australia.
We knew we'd take a bit of a hit with the penalties, but that's not bad for a bunch of old timers.
And then the winner of the relay race.
With only 14 penalty minutes, Team Belgium. Yay!
When we heard we were first, we were so excited. And we said we are coming closer and closer to the... And I think we're going to make the finals.
Despite a great effort and holding on to their chosen strategy, South Africa fails to go home with the win.
We were beaten. We did not lose, we were beaten.
With 11 penalty minutes, Team South Africa.
With their set of skills, they managed to beat South Africa. It's more an accomplishment to them than it is failure to us, definitely.
More than Victor, Diane turns out to be the sorest of losers.
Absolutely furious about it. We came here to do an obstacle course, not to run through and not attempt to climb a rope. To get a second place was soul-destroying for me, so gutted.
In the Photonis Ultimate Forces Challenge, a simple twist in strategy can be the difference between winning and losing. With their impressive display of agility, strength, and of course Uber girl Eva, Team Belgium win the challenge and solidifies its spot at number 2 in the overall competition. Team USA is third, with Canada dropping into fourth, which leaves Australia in last place. South Africa continue to lead the competition, but it's been a while since they've won a challenge. The question is, can they hold on?
The Belgians have been doing really well in the last few days. They were pretty quiet early on, and they've really come to the fore, and everything they compete in there, they're showing real, true grit and strength team. I can't understand a thing they say, but they're working together really well, and they've got some really talented young people in there.
From this event, I've taken a way to improve myself, and I'm going to figure that out and be less grouchy about this.